Okay, let us discuss the solutions to assignment 9. In the first question, we are given a figure, a combinatorial circuit, and asked to find what the critical path is, right? The definition of the critical path is provided, which has the maximum delay between input and output. In this case, you can verify that the critical path goes like that. It's the highest delay path in this circuit, and it goes through I1, I2, N1, and I3 as shown. It has a delay of 6, and this is the critical path. So that's question 1 and 2. In question 3, consider a combinatorial circuit with multiple inputs and multiple outputs. For every such possible circuit, to minimize its propagation delay, it is sufficient to simply determine the critical path and then perform gate sizing algorithm on it alone. So let's see which of these options are correct. The idea is that just because the critical path is equal to the max over paths delay of, or maybe argmax over paths delay of path. That is, find that argument path, right? The argument path such that delay of path is maximized. That's what. Maybe I'll give it a little better. Critical path is that path P for which the delay of that path P is maximum. So you can have various paths, P1, P2, whatever, from various inputs. P3, right? So let's say it's I1, I2, I3, O1, O2. You could have paths like that. First, you have to find the path which has and each path will have its own delay, worst case delay, right? Propagation delay. And that is the path which has the maximal delay is the critical path. Now, just because you found the critical path, let's say it's P1 or let's say it's P2, and you reduced its delay, doesn't mean that all the other delays, you can't take it that all the other paths delay, let's say P1 comma P3 delays are delay of P1 and delay of P2 is less than delay of P3 is less than delay of P2. So therefore I can just reduce delay of P2 and all these others will reduce. They won't reduce. It's just that if you now reduce delay of P2, some other path will come out as the critical path potentially. So that is the option number 1. The critical path of the circuit may change after performing gate sizing on the path with maximal delay, right? And the second option, some other path may take over as the critical path. Same thing, right? So the critical path delay, after you perform the gate sizing algorithm, the critical path delay reduces. But the other path delays need not actually change because you've only done the gate sizing on this path, let's say this path P2, right? P1, P3 delays will just stay the same, or potentially they will just stay the same. So therefore, this option is also correct. And of course, this is not true. By definition, all other paths have lower delay. All other paths have lower delay in it for that sizing of those gates in that path. Once you change the circuit, that is, once you change the sizing, you'll have to find the new critical path. And then finally, yes, since gate sizing algorithm ensures that the delay of the entire circuit along with any path comes down to minimum possible value, this, as I have already explained, doesn't work because gate sizing algorithm is performed on a particular path, not on the entire circuit. What are the propagation delay of a 64-bit ripple carry adder given the delay of carry and sum are 1 and 2 units respectively? So this is the working out of the ripple carry adder delay. So you'll have 63 T carries, right? So you'll have a T carry here and another T carry here, and then you'll have a T sum for the final guy. And so that 63 into T carry plus T sum, you get 65. In question number 5, which of the following functions can be implemented with mirrored pull-up and pull-down networks? So we have spent extensive amount of time in self-dual functions in previous assignments, so I'm not going to go into that. Suffice it to say that these 4 are valid expressions for the sum and carry out bar, which are both self-dual functions and can be implemented in a mirrored manner. And you can see that and you can see in the digital IC design lecture notes an implementation of the full adder with sum and carry in a mirrored manner, right? So all you need to show is that these are all valid expressions for sum and carry out. We've already shown you a full adder implemented in a mirrored manner, right? It just remains to verify that these are all valid expressions for sum and carry out, which is left as an exercise. So yeah, all 4 options are correct. They're all correct. Which of the following inputs is timing critical in the second full adder in a 4-bit triple adder? Right, so timing critical definition is here. An input to a digital circuit used in some block is timing critical if and only if the input is the last arriving signal to that circuit. So let's say you have some circuit in which you have some block, and that block has some input X among other inputs, let's say Y, Z, and so on. This input is timing critical if the signal coming here is the last arriving for this particular circuit, right? So let's look at what will happen for a 4-bit triple carry adder. What is the second full adder? Which input is timing critical? So clearly, I have not drawn the remaining full adders, but here are the first full adder and the second full adders. You can see that the inputs A and B will arrive instantly. However, the carry in will arrive with a propagation delay of the, at worst case, it will arrive with the propagation delay of the carry out path, right? So the TPD of this path it will take to arrive there. So therefore, Ci is the last arriving signal and it is the timing critical signal among all of these, right? In question 7, which of the following statements are true about the mirror adder circuit discussed in class? So this is the pull down network of the carry in and then the pull down network of A and B. This is the carry out generation part. You can see that Cin is in fact connected to only one. These, all these transistors are of the same size, and so therefore Cin is connected to the one with the least logical effort, because A goes to 2 transistors, B goes to 2 transistors, but C only goes to 1 transistor. And since they are all of the same size, we get that the mirror adder Cin is connected to the gate of the transistor with least logical effort. And of course, as you can see, Cin is connected to the gate of the transistor that's closest to the output as well. Mirror adder aims to reduce the NMOS stack size. No, that's not true. And Cout bar needs to be generated from sum bar. No, actually sum bar is being generated from Cout bar. Question number 8. A 128-bit carry skip adder is implemented using the following blocks in 4-bit, 8-bit and 16-bit block sizes. So for the following delays, we are asked to find what the critical path delays are. Here is the working out of question 8. You can pause the video at this point to verify this working, but this is the expression for the carry skip adder delay with respect to its inputs. So please pause the video at this point to go over the answers, but basically the answer is option D. Question number 9. Which of the following statements are true about an n-bit linear carry select chain with block size m equal to n by 2? So this is the linear carry select chain, right? The block size m, right, which is the number of bits in each block here, is n by 2. N is the total number of bits. So which basically means that there will only be 2 blocks. You can assume these are all not there. Yeah, so in the linear carry select chain, there are with m equal to n by 2, we get that there are m carryout circuits in this block, which is equal to n by 2. And given that now there are 2m carryout circuits, that means there are n carryout circuits in each block, and now there are 2 blocks, so therefore there are 2n carryout circuits. So that's fine. However, there are only m sum circuits here, so that means there are 2m equal to n only. So therefore there are only n sum out circuits, so this is wrong. This is correct. The outputs are calculated for both Cin equal to 0 and 1. That's true. You have 0 here and 1 here. And the input bits are chosen using a multiplexer, right? So it's chosen using a multiplexer. And finally, the architecture is more area and power efficient compared to the ripple adder. No, we are going for this kind of duplication of hardware so as to save on time. But of course, you will have much more transitions and much more area, so it will not be as power efficient. So this is not the right answer. In question number 10, if A and B are the following with Cn equal to 0, and this is the MSB. I'm sorry, the leftmost bit being the MSB. So this is the MSB. Are fed to a ripple carry adder. Then what is the time required for the carry out to settle, right? If the sum generation is 2 units and carry generation takes 1 unit. So basically this is the working out. The idea is that only on the final 2 columns there is a carry generation and propagation. So therefore you generation propagation each take 1 unit. So that's 2 into t carry, so that's 2 units. In question number 11, we are given 2 numbers and asked to find out whether the carry out A plus B will depend on carry in or not. So these are the 2 numbers and this is their sum. So if Cn equal to 0, then of course you will not get any C out, but if Cn equal to 1, then you will get this as the sum, and C out there will be a final carry out of 1. So therefore carry out does depend on carry in. So this is false. In question number 12, which of the following are true about an n-bit linear carry selection consists of n by m blocks, block size of m bits each, right? We are given the following assumptions. Which of the following situation correspond to the worst case delay? If the MSB is in generate mode, then there is no carry out. There is no carry out propagation, so therefore it cannot really be the worst case delay, because the worst case delay has to be through the to the ripple path. The n full adders are in propagate mode. Yes. So the n full adders being in propagate mode means that the carry in will propagate. So the worst case delay will be in a situation where the ripple path is activated, and of course if the ripple path is activated, then all n full adders are either in propagate mode or the LSB is in generate mode, and all the other full adders are in propagate mode. And so therefore these are the 2 correct answers. And of course the center bit being in generate mode means only half the ripple path is activated, so that is wrong. So yes, these were the solutions to assignment 9.